Serious? Are you serious? I mean, Nikki Haley just went off on the United Nations. Thank God she did, to be quite honest with you. I mean, this is getting to be ridiculous what's going on at the United Nations. Nikki Haley, the UN ambassador for the United States, of course, the former governor of South Carolina, she's been newly appointed to the United States ambassador to the United Nations, and she's the former South Carolina governor. She issued a harsh criticism of the United Nations Security Council over their anti-Israel bias. And Haley noted that the United Nations Security Council's role is to produce open dialogue and a new innovative ways to maintain international peace and security. However, their meeting regarding the war-torn Middle East has failed to address some of the region's most dire issues. Instead, she said, the meeting focused on criticizing Israel, the one true democracy in the Middle East. She says, I'm here to say the United States will not turn a blind eye to this anymore. I'm here to underscore the ironclad support of the United States for Israel, Haley said. And incredibly, the UN Department of Political Affairs has an entire department devoted to Palestinian affairs. Imagine that, she said. There is not a division devoted to illegal missile launches from North Korea. There's no division devoted to the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism, Iran. Matter of fact, in December, the Obama administration disregarded Israel by departing from the long-standing U.S. foreign policy of vetoing any anti-Israel resolutions and instead abstained from voting on a Security Council resolution which called for a halt to Israel construction in the West Bank and Eastern Jerusalem. Quote, we will never repeat the terrible mistake of the resolution of 2334 and allow one-sided Security Council resolutions to condemn Israel. Instead, we will push for action on the real threats we face in the Middle East. And in January, bipartisan legislation was passed by a group of Republican and Democratic senators that effectively rejects the United Nations resolution and calls for a resolution to either be repealed or fundamentally altered so that it no longer is one-sided. Israel's place in the world is changing, UN Ambassador Haley said, and Israel's building up new diplomatic relationships. More and more countries recognize how much Israel contributes to the world. She continued to say it's the UN's anti-Israeli bias that's long overdue for a change, and the United States will not hesitate to speak out against these biases in defense of our friend and ally Israel. And Haley recently announced that the United States would take notice of what supposed allies did not back as sufficiently at the United Nations and would make an appropriate response as reported by the Blaze. Matter of fact, during Haley's confirmation hearing, she said that she would not absolutely follow, absolutely President Trump's policies, saying that part of their mission was to educate Trump in some ways regarding many benefits of the United Nations. So Haley is saying, look, I'm going to work with Trump, but this is absolutely a fact that Israel, the bias against Israel is just off the charts. And folks, I've been reporting that now for what, 7 years? The United Nations is a joke. They don't, like she said, where's the division to stop North Korea from firing missiles? Where's the division to analyze Iran? But how do you make Iran now the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and yet turn around and do a deal with them and give them opportunities to play on the world stage with nuclear capabilities? You see the hypocrisy of the United Nations? It's been nothing but one big anti-Semitic organization bound and determined to destroy not only Israel, which is Psalms 83, They are the confederacy that's formed against Israel. They've said, come, let's wipe them off the face of the earth. That there's no more remembrance of Israel. Believe me, biblical prophecy is taking place in the United Nations, and it's the rise of the Antichrist. It is the rise of the beast, the one world government, the new world order. And Nikki Haley of the United States just poked it in the eye. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Look out, the great confrontation between righteousness and iniquity is about to take place. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. He's coming soon.